We're in this, and we continue to be in this weird period where, you know, lots of people are asking for the government to do something on the cost of living crisis. You've got the current Prime Minister saying he can't really do anything because he's not allowed to. And the incoming potential Prime Minister saying that she doesn't quite know what she can do because she needs to talk to officials.
Yes, it's all a bit murky, isn't it? The Prime Minister pointing there to all of the support that has already been announced, the £37 billion of spending that now looks like it will pale in comparison to the scale of the crisis. It really does show just how deep into the squalls we have sailed in this crisis. Without enough energy generation of our own, the whole of Western Europe so reliant on Russia's gas that's now been slowly turned off. And that means, of course, that although the United Kingdom gets less than 5% of its energy from Russia in terms of gas, we are still competing with all those other European countries that want to get their gas from Norway, that want to get their gas from the North Sea, that want to get their gas from Qatar, or want to get it from the United States of America. Frankly, Russia pulling out means that everyone needs to get it from everywhere else, and there isn't enough supply to go around, hence those price rises, hence this crisis. But yes, Liz Truss and Rishi Sunak fairly vague on what they would do, wanting to get over that hurdle of becoming Prime Minister before we see the fully fleshed plans of theirs. Indeed, we have heard from the Treasury that they've worked up potential plans for the next Prime Minister to take up from the word go. But clearly there's this sense of frustration that this Conservative leadership race has dragged on for many more weeks when the conclusion has seemed fairly certain for quite some time now. It does seem like the new incoming government will have to act incredibly quickly in the only 3 weeks that they have before conference recess kicks in at the end of September. It's a very short window, but interesting there, listening to the outgoing Prime Minister. We heard for the first time confirmation from him that he wants to say something on nuclear power later this week. There was a rumour that we would get some sort of speech, some sort of announcement from the Prime Minister, perhaps approving Sizewell C and moving forward with that nuclear project. We know that so many nuclear power plants are coming offline over the next few years in this country, creating a big crisis. This government's tried to be more pro-nuclear, but it's been very, very slow. There's a bit of a contentious idea as to whether this should be a decision for the outgoing Prime Minister after he's announced his resignation, but clearly it does look now more likely than not that Sizewell C will be approved by the Prime Minister in a speech later this week.
And all this, of course, Tom, while we still await to find out who the winner is going to be. There is a final hustings, isn't there, tomorrow night in London. And then the voting closes on Friday, with the announcements, I think, on Monday.
That's the timeline to a point, yes. Tomorrow night at the Excel Centre in London, there'll be the final regional hustings. Of course, the Conservative Party's gone round all 12 official regions of the United Kingdom, the final one being London. This is the last opportunity that both candidates will be in the same room, not together, but sequentially, setting out their case and taking those questions. Of course, we do know that Liz Truss has pulled out of a proposed BBC interview as well, but given where we are in the stage of the contest that we are at, it is very unlikely that anything now can move the needle. Most Conservatives have voted by this point. It really is a waiting game, and yes, of course, the vote closes on Friday, the counting over the weekend, and midday on Monday is when we hear that result.